Hi, I'm Gillian. I'm going to show you some quick Canva tips to make your life easier and your designs work even better. So as you can see on the screen here, we have a blank white canvas. Before I start anything, depending on what it is I'm working on, I will create a bit of a brand guide. So on the slide in front of me, I'm going to put the colours that I want to work with. This basically just helps me to provide the consistency of colours that I use throughout the project. So to start with, I need an element. So I go into this elements tab here and click. As you can see, I use this all the time. Recently used a square. So you'd go into search elements and put in a square and then go into graphics or into shapes. Shapes, pop that in there now. So what I've got here is a coloured square and I want to use this colour. I like this colour, but I want a number of others. Now what I'm going to do is I can duplicate the square and then I can duplicate it again. And did you notice how it aligned itself automatically? Canva has instinctively lined that up because it thinks I want to be uniform with the way I line that up, which is true, I do. If I didn't have that as a function, and let's say I placed it there, there is another way that I can line this up for myself to make it line up correctly so that there's even spaces between the three things there. So we would select it with your mouse and select all three items at once. Come over to this position tool here, and then if you, excuse me, you get this space evenly option. So you can ask it to horizontally space the boxes, which is done. So I've now got a nicely spaced out group of boxes. Now I'm going to change the colour of this one. So we click on the green and it comes up with the document colours. I have got some bits and bobs preloaded in here, which is why it's got these colours in. This is my brand kit here. So the Design Grove brand kit includes a yellow and a pink. So I'm going to use those colours. So now if I get rid of that and let's say come back into that, it's going to appear on my document colours here. We have a photo on the canvas here, which basically allows me to have, let's say for example, I want some brand inspiration. I'm going to come to photos and I'm going to pick sunshine picture, let's say sunshine picture. Okay, so we look through here and let's pick one of these. Oh, that's a good one. So I'm going to pick this umbrellas. I like this picture. This picture feels like my brand identity and I want my branding to be in these colours, but I don't know what these colours are. So unless you've got a fancy tool like Photoshop, which will allow you to do that, Canva will also let you select colours based on a photo. So now if I select the colour option, I have two photos in there now. I have this original photograph, which has the greens, the dark greens, and I have this picture of umbrellas which has now appeared here. So it's now telling me I've got this group, I've got this yellow, I've got this green, and I've got this blue. So if I click on all of those, that's now my new colour palette. So if I close that and then come back in, you'll see that my original colours have disappeared and I've now got the old colours that I have. What I will then do is, for ease of using this in the project later, I will then click on these on this toggle here to pop up the window with the hex code. I'll double click the hex code and then Control and C and then double click in the box and paste it in. Now I can't see that very well, so what I'm going to do is click on the text color and then change it to white. And I'm going to do that for each of the three colors. And the reason for that will become clear, in a moment. And the final one, let's click on that, Control, and then we'll make that white as well. Okay, so I want to create a gradient as well. So I'm going to basically take a copy of that with a duplicate tool and make it longer. So I want my gradient with the green and the yellow. So I'm going to click on the box that I want to make into a gradient, get rid of that, and then click on the color again. And when you clicked on this before, I don't know if you spotted that you have this gradient option here. So we click gradient and it will automatically default to using the yellow first. It's actually chucked in the green, but it's not quite the shade of green that I want. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to write in hex 41795E. Now that's got my actual gradient that I'm looking for, and I can switch these around, make the green first, make the yellow first, whichever way I want. I can change the angle where it comes from, whether it's centrally, it comes from the corner. So I'm going to swap it around, and then one of the other things that you can do is that you can select the secondary colour and you can change the opacity of it. So I can bring that right down so that it's basically green and transparent. So when I overlay this over the top of the image, you can see that you can see the green and then it disappears to nothing here. And if you move it around, you can play around with that so that you can have more or less of the gradient. If you want more of the gradient green, you can move it out of the canvas. I'm going to leave it there. So why would you want a gradient like that? Well, I'm going to show you why. So basically we've got this picture here. I want to use this picture in my design and put some text over the top. Now I don't know about you, but I can't see that text very well. So I want to put an overlay on my image so that the text pops out more. So I'm going to select my pre-done gradient, click copy, Control and V, and then I'm just going to make it the full size of the canvas. Now you can see that my text is under the gradient, which is not where I want it to be. So there are two ways that you can handle this. You can first of all click on the item that you want to send to the back and right click with your mouse to get the layer and then click send to back. But it's gone to the back where my photograph was as well. So then I have to do that again to send the photo to the back. Now my text is at the front. Or what you could have done is click on the position tool here and you have this layers tab, which is a fantastic idea, and you can then drag it around the layers. So if you wanted it to be on top of the text or you wanted it to be underneath the text, you can move it around like that. So that is how you basically access the layers that you maybe can't access if you put something over the top of something else. So this is pretty much there. I'm just going to change the gradient color. I want to use this 153509. So I'm going to change that to 153509 and then there it is. Right, so that's because I wanted it to be a bit dark because that text was still getting a bit lost. So there we've got it. We've got the overlaid text over the top of a picture, making it easier for you to see the text. Now, this picture is also really quite useful because it has this big space here. So I want to put some text in that space, but it's not quite big enough. So let's say we'll push it to there and we're going to we need about that much text space to put our text on. So I'm going to just make it a bit bigger, a bit wider. There we go. And then move it to the side like that. You could click on the white background, find the background colour from the image. So this is this image and I could use the grey. And it's kind of done the job in terms of giving me the extra. And you could probably hide it with the gradient layer. Oops, bring to front. You could probably hide it and you would be none the wiser, but I can see this guy's laptop and it's not quite what I want. So I'm just going to move that out of the way. So the way to handle this could be to use the AI tool built into Canva. So we're going to edit, and then here in the Magic Studio, you come to this side, you've got Magic Expand, and you can ask it now to basically make it wider. So I'm going to drag it out here, freeform, and then click expand. It's going to scan the image and then the AI is going to populate the right hand side of this photograph. Okay, so it's done the job and we have a couple of options here. It's given us a extended sofa, and that's not too bad. I'm not sure why it was unable to match the background quite as well as you might think, but I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to use that, and then we're just going to make that. I'm going to use this gradient because I'm not happy with the way that's worked. So I'm going to pop that over, but I want it to be the other way around. So I'm just going to edit the gradient, click on that, and I'm going to use this one, but I'm going to move the green to that side. So now you can't see the dodginess, but you've got all this space, which is brilliant. This is exactly what I wanted. I'm going to just make it a little bit easy to read all that text. And my text is ended up on a layer down there somewhere. I've got a few different things. I don't know where it is. I can see it there, but I'm going to just click on position, and the position tool will help me out here again. So I'm going to just select, put my finger on the shift to get both of these at once, and then drag it up. So now I have my text on the top layer. I'm going to position that on this side. I'm going to make that a bit smaller. It's only placeholder text, so I don't need all of it. I'm going to right align it, select all, and then right align, and then drag it to, it's not going over the guy's head. I want text coming out of your head. And that's the job done. So we are happy with the way that looks. So I hope you have learned a few things along the way there, and some of the tips that I've shared with you are useful. If you want to know more and you want to learn more, I do run Canva classes online and in person. So go to thedesigngrove.com and get in touch.